Hi, everybody. It's JWOW. And there's a great opening line to this adventure. Four dead jazz greats and a very alive urban shaman walk into a bar. Okay, that is the feel, that is a truth, that is all of the things about this, what I'm calling a jazz venture, that light me up because ultimately we get to make a difference in people's lives with this thing. That's always my first thing. Howard Roberts was the first black international symphonic conductor in the world in the 50s. And his daughter and I were friends in college. And Kim brought me back to visit one year, and it took about 30 seconds for Howard Roberts and me to just face plant over each other. It was the best thing. I met the man twice, maybe three times. When I met him, I was in unbelievable pain and managing all of these things. I was in my 20s, and yet the two of us hit this kindred spirit spot that was off the chart. I was going to be a violin prodigy. I was a violin prodigy. I was going to be the first child black international violinist in the world. I was slated to do that. And then that didn't happen because, my parents said no. And when I met Howard Roberts and I told him that, he did two things that changed my life. One of them was he said, "I'm so sorry about that. I can imagine the pain that you're in from not getting to live into something that was so clearly what you were slated to do in this lifetime." He said, "And that same energy, that same intensity, that same love for art, that same feeling of, oh my goodness, I could live and breathe and not have to eat as long as I could play violin," which is where I was. He said that same energy can be put into any project that you do, and you're going to do great things, young lady. I mean, like, he was absolutely crystal clear. I believed him. I believed him, and it got me through my pain, and it got me through, it got me to rock and roll, it got me to music, it got me to performance. Jimmy Page at one point said I was the most cyclonic performer, one of the most cyclonic performers he'd ever seen in his life. Yeah, the guy from Led Zeppelin. I mean, the accolades that I got for somebody who never got famous, those did not get me as far in my heart as Howard Roberts' words did for all the things that I've done since. You fed 170,000 families with fans with cans. I trained generals at the Pentagon. I've done all these really cool things. And in the back of my mind, there's been this old black guy who's a conductor around the world who said that I could do these incredible things. I could have this legendary life. And on his deathbed, this man turned to his daughter and said, "Can you please get," it's the only two tapes in his private library from his private collection and his private studio. That private thing is really important. They're the only two tapes that didn't get sent to museums around the world. He said, "I want you to get them to Julie Woods, to JWOW, because she'll know what to do with them, whether that's to do nothing with them or to do something with them. And she'll do the right thing, and she'll do the right thing." Well, that was in 2011 when Howard passed. And I have spent since 2011 figuring out how to fulfill this man's legacy, because here's what we think is going on with those tapes. All right. On the boxes, it says that they are Montreux Jazz Festival, like 1970s recordings of the Howard Roberts Chorale, unpublished. These are his private recordings of that, if that's what it is. Howard Roberts had one of the top jazz chorales in the world. However, that's not what he thinks is on them. And that's not what we believe is on them. And this is where y'all come in. What we think is on those tapes, what he thought was on those tapes, which is why he gave them to me, is that he thinks that they are private jam sessions with three of his best friends in the world, Count Basie, Duke Ellington, and Ella Fitzgerald. The four of them jamming their little brains out in his private studio in his house for fun. Okay, we get to find out whether or not that's what's on the tapes. And that's the adventure. That's the actual adventure. Finding out that that's what's on there, that opens up a whole bunch of worlds for a whole bunch of people, because we'll do stuff with that, and we'll make it available to the world, and we'll be able to sell the CDs and get this new music out there, and turn the world upside down, and all be great, wonderful. Right now, in order to get to all of that magic, or see if we can get to all of that magic, that's where the Rhythm Roots Project comes in, because what we're doing is a reveal documentary. It's an education, it's a journey, it's a jazz venture, it's a journey. And here's what's really cool. You look at things like Wikipedia. Howard Roberts was a badass, and he kicked ass before there was Google and the internet and all of that was available to everyone. So you look at something like Wikipedia, and he's got some pissant thing in Wikipedia that does not in any way, shape, or form reflect the magnificence of this man's legacy and what he did in his life, the legend of his life. And that's something that we get to correct along the way. I will learn about Howard Roberts and share with the world about that. He spoke to me about this dream of wanting to get music back into schools where it had been taken away. That was the thing that they took away. They took away ghetto kids and barrio kids and rural kids. They took away their music and art because art is not treasured in the mainstream. He treasured it. He lived it. And we get to do things to bring it back. So before we even know what's on the tapes, we get to start building a legacy of love for art that opens people's imaginations back up when their imaginations are still wonderful and new and shiny. Where imagination still has imagination and hope and inspiration in it. That's what we get to do all along the way, from the moment we turn on the camera. So there's a small group of people that I'm sending this to say, hey, we're starting this for real. We are looking for donations so that we can do the filming, so that we can get the tapes restored, so that we can do all the operational stuff that makes this whole project work, so that we can make a difference in people's lives. And so your donations here in the beginning, we get to do a really great thing because you step up. So for those of you who do, thank you in advance for getting what it is that we do. We're going to turn the jazz world on its ear. It's going to be amazing. Please know that this delight is something that I want each of you to feel along the way as you invest your heart through the money that you share with us. That's different than investing your money. You invest your heart and your delight, and you're wanting to be inspired, and you're wanting to be on an adventure, and you're wanting to make a difference in the world with some art and fun, and bring that kind of lightness into the world. We'll talk about what it was for him to be a black conductor. We'll talk about what it is for me to be a black shaman who across time and distance is fulfilling a man's legacy. This is exciting stuff, y'all. I hope that you come play with us. It's going to be badass, and it's going to be one hell of a ride. We're going to have a good time. Have a good time making a big difference. That's what we're here to do. Thank you so much for your listening, for your time, for your enthusiasm, for being willing to be in your joy in a way that helps others be in their joy. We're going to lift up a whole bunch of people, y'all. We're going to do that together.